up all? Brev Sullivan here. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following my little adventures with Ik Multimedia, you've seen me review the Brown Sound Pack 78, 79. Today, we're gonna get an EVH guitar, hit that hip shot, drop D tuning. Let's hear that Brown Sound 1980, 81 pack. 80, 81 Van Halen. That's the Fair Warning era, and of course the Women and Children First era. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a Woman and Children First newbie. I like that album, but there wasn't many famous songs on there that I learned from my Van Halen tribute. 80, 81, though, of course, you think of Fair Warning, and Fair Warning arguably is one of the best tones on the planet, best guitar tones on the planet. Now, if you research Jim Gosted, who developed all these sounds, the IRs, the sounds, lifetime of research doing this Brown sound so that the Ik Multimedia package and your Tonex pedal reproduces accurately, you'll learn that the 78, 79 Variac settings differ than the 1980, 81 Variac settings. So what I found out from researching the videos is that the Variac settings changed. The amp is now slightly compressed a little more, and that Variac setting also lowered the volume even more that you were hearing in the room. Amp builders like Friedman and Bogner all emulated this sound. So when you go to your packs, if you own both separate packs as I do, you go to your 78, 79 pack, and then you go to the setting I'm using here for Unchained, you can hear that noticeably dropped Variac feel and that really spongy, bouncy, dark vibe that you're gonna get from that whole album. Drop D tunings, love it. The tracks that I put out on my social media, I pretty much use the same setting. Keep in mind when you buy the 8081 pack from Ik Multimedia, I do have an affiliate link in this video. So if you purchase it, you're really helping out the channel and helping me out. All right, let's keep going talking about the tunes. I'll hear about it later. For the packs, when you purchase them, they come so you can load them into your Tonex or to your software editor, pretty much with no effects. No reverb, no delay, no chorus, just a straight up tone. As you go through the video and you hear the sound samples that I did go in and put effects on them. I do separate videos on how to put those effects yourself. If you put these effects on, you put these EQs on, you can get away with playing a few patches on your Tonex for all the albums. Now I've got a bunch of delay, reverb, and chorus on here. Okay, that's one. Here's another one I altered. I took the same tone that we were doing, the Unbound preset, or the Unbound tone sample, which now becomes my Unchained preset. For the solo, same deal, some reverb, some chorus, some delay, and it spreads that nice stereo pitch, which by the way, in the studio, they were using Eventide harmonizers, ultra harmonizers back then to get that mix. You're probably gonna end up doing what I did. If you're playing live, you're gonna end up choosing 3 or 4 of your favorites. Keep in mind that the outboard gear in the studios used back then was so important to how we perceive the mix of the album. Sometimes the mix is trebly than what the sample might sound like. Sometimes it's a little darker than what you prefer. I think that these tone samples are amazing, and that once you get them, once you purchase them and put them on your pedal or your software, you don't really need to do anything to the mix. Maybe do what I did was add some slight delay or reverb so it's not so flat. But for those of you running a Tonex into, say, the Tonex FRFR, the Tonex cab, or some of you may want to just turn the cabs off in the Tonex pedal and run it into a power amp. You can't do both. You can't have your cabs on, run it to a power amp and expect it to sound good. It's going to sound thin and squashed. At the same time, I think the Tonex pedal is the ultimate solution for those of you who just go straight to the PA and you use the Tonex FRF cab right in front of you, or buy a couple of them in stereo and run them in stereo behind you, so you have a nice on-stage vibe. This is custom guitar. Now I say custom because this custom paint job was done by Funk Guitars USA. This was a black and white stripe. The routing, the paint job, and the pickup is stock, but the routing was done by Funk Guitars USA. And because in the spirit of Van Halen, he painted himself, do it yourself, you know. Also, I wanted to point out that I am using a Compensated Nut by Lock and Roll. Lock and Roll makes these amazing upgrades for whatever size nut you need, and it just gives it a more even feel than the stock Floyd Rose nut. And it does give it slightly more sustain, just overall balance of under harmonics and over harmonics. So in case you're looking at the guitar wondering, and I did all the little burns and the weathering myself. So it's my little custom Frankenstrat. Thank you so much for watching my adventures with the Ik Multimedia Brown Sound 78, 79, and now 1980, 81 pack. I'll be posting a couple more videos on how to tweak the sounds a little more as I experiment with them myself. And keep in mind, there's still more tone samples coming. Brett Sullivan saying thank you. See you soon. Please.